Good morning. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Disembodied Mr. Johnson Voice. How many tabs are open on Disembodied Mr. Johnson's computer? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 this time. Look, I'm gonna press stop webcam. Oh, and they're like, yeah, you stopped it. And then I'm gonna press start webcam, and then it's still not there. So I don't know what's going on today. Hopefully you don't miss my face being there in the corner of your screen, distracting you and going blah and all that kind of stuff. And I can't even tell what face I'm making when I'm making sounds like blah. So hopefully you didn't just turn off the video because Mr. Johnson's making too much noise. All right. Now, today, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at finding the volume of some three-dimensional rectangular prisms, blah, and each one is not labeled. All right, so you get two different situations in 5th grade. You get these where you can count the cubes, and usually they won't have labels, and you get these where you can't count the cubes, and usually these will have labels. This one obviously has labels on both, so you can kind of see that. Remember, when you were finding out the dimensions, these corner cubes get counted each time, right? If this is 4 inches wide, 4 cubic inches wide, 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's 4 cubic inches long, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if it's 3 cubic inches tall, 1, 2, 3. We counted this one square right there, this one cube, each time, right? So remember, those corner cubes get counted each time. So once again, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 wide, 1, 2, 3, 4 long, and then 1, 2, 3 high. That's why it's 4 by 4 by 3. Okay, now let's look at ours. These are 3 rectangular prisms. And then we're supposed to find the length, the width, the height, and then the area of the base. So that's length times width. All right, so our base is going to be length times width. And if you get the length and width backwards, that's okay. These are kind of these shapes are diagonal, so what you think is length and what you think is width is kind of up to you. Height is the only one that is really not that easy to confuse. All right, so let's go ahead and find the dimensions first. What I'm going to do for all these is I'm just going to find the dimensions, then we'll go back. We'll find the area of the base and the volume of the prism. We'll do the math last, but let's start off by finding the dimensions. All right, so let's just say for this one, this will be length, this will be width, this will be height. So length, width, height. If you want to say that this is width and this is length, that's fine too, just because those two numbers are your base. It does not matter if they are backwards. So let's say this is length, 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. So our length is 4. All right, our width is 1, 2, 3 cubes. So our width is 3. And then our height is 1, 2, 3 cubes. So our height is 3. We had 4 by 3 by 3. All right, next one. We have 4. All right, so if you want to say that's the length, we'll just say that that is 4. The width, 1, 2. So our width is 2. Once again, if you want to say that this is 4 wide and this is 2 long, that is fine. It's going to get the same answer, 4 times 2. And your height is the only one that is going to be a little bit different. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so we figured out our dimensions for rectangular prism number 2. We have a 4 by 2 by 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Final one, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just say the length for this one is 2, and the width for this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the height is 2 tall, 1, 2, not too tall, but 2 units tall. Whoa, don't delete that. Okay, so we have found the dimensions for our last rectangular prism as well. It's 2 long, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units wide, and 1, 2 units high. All right, so now we need to find the area of the base, okay? So the area of the base, if you look over here, area is length times width. Base is also length times width. all right? Because if you look over here, volume equals base times height. So length times width is the same thing as the base. Length times width is also the same thing as area. So when you're finding the base, just remember it's the first two dimensions of your rectangular prism formula, the length and the width. And there's a hint right here that the base is the same thing as the length and the width. Because this formula right here says base times height. This one over here says length times width times height. So if you find the length times the width and multiply it times the height, that's the same thing as base times height. So to find the base, it's going to be length times width. To find the base, it's going to be length times width. All right? So to find the base, what we're going to have here, let me go ahead and break out my OneNote because I do, hey, there's my face. Hello. I didn't have OneNote open, so that wasn't helpful. Okay, so when we don't even need to look at the picture because we have the digits now. All right, so what I want to do is basically I want to do volume equals length times width times height. All right, these two things together will also equal your base. So if we use this formula for the whole thing, then we should be able to find our base while we do our mathematics and our calculations. All right, so volume equals what's length? Plug it in. So L turned into 4, W turns into 3, and H turns into 3 because my length was 4, my width was 3, and my height was 3. So volume equals 4 times 3 times 3. So whatever my length times my width together is, that's my base. So my base is 4 times 3. My base is 12. All right. So what I mean by that, if you look at your, if you look at your base units, or like the base of the rectangular prism, I'm really losing a battle to readjusting this. I'll just minimize it for now. Think about it. How many cubes would be on the bottom layer right here? 3 by 4. So if you filled in all the rest, there would be 12 cubes on the bottom layer. You can kind of see on the top layer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the bottom layer or the base is 12 units. All right. It's 12 actually cubic units. If we want to be specific. Whoa, I'm making a mess with all my stuff. There we go. Let me shrink it down. 12 cubic units. All right. And then if I go back to my OneNote, which is now terribly in the wrong place. All right. Now I have volume equals base times height. So 12 times 3. If you know your math facts, you know that's 36, but we could always do the math to the side. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 36. Okay, so volume equals 36 cubic units, all right? Because our base was 12 cubic units, because 4 times 3 equals 12, and then our volume is base times height. 12 was our base, 3 was our height. 12 times 3 equals 36. So 36 cubic units is our answer. And that one fits. All right, so we have made our way through the first one. Let's take a look at the second one. Same idea. We're going to use the formula. All right, volume equals length times width times height. Remember, all these are so far rectangular prisms, so we're not using volume equals side times side times side. If we had a cube where all the side lengths are the same, we could use the other formula, volume equals side times side times side. All right, so, oops. There we go. So my length, once again, I'm going to fill in the letters that I know. I know L is 4, I know W is 2, and I know H is 3. That's because my length is 4, my width is 2, and my height is 3. Remember, once again, your length times your width together equals your base. So let's figure out our base first. Volume equals 8 times 3. So our base is 4 times 2, length times width. Our base was 8. Now, if we once again look at this, our base is made of 8 cubes. You can see on top again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our base layer, our bottom layer, was made of 8 cubes. And then we have 3 layers of 8 cubes. So 8 times 3 equals 24 cubic units. All right? So the area of the base, or the base layer, was 8 cubic units. Shrink it down. And then the volume of the prism was our base of 8 cubic units times our height of 3. So we got 24 cubic units. Oh, oops. All right. Why did I put a dot? There we go. That looks good. All right, so all in all, in this rectangular prism, there are 24 cubic units. If we count it all, it'd be like 8 3 times, right? Base layer of 8 times 3 high. All right, last one. We have our rectangular prism. So once again, we're going to use the formula for a volume of a rectangular prism, length times width times height. Then we're going to fill in the letters that we do know. Our length was 2, our width was 5, our height was 2. All right, and then multiplying your length times your width together will give you your base. So my base is 2 times 5. My base is 10 cubic units. All right. So if I'm putting the area of my base, it was 10 cubic units because it is 2 times 5. My length of 2 times my width of 5. There we go. Okay, and then finally, let's go ahead and multiply our base times the height. Volume equals, what's 10 times 2? 20. 20 cubic units. All right, so our total was 20 cubic units. So remember, to get to the answer for these, all you got to do is plug it into your formula here on your handy dandy cheat sheet. Remember, we started off our formula by multiplying length times width, which gave us our base, and that's why our second problem, or this third line on these, kind of looks more like base times height. All right, but we start off with all 3 dimensions. Volume equals length times width times height, and then that will tell you how much can fit inside each one of these boxes. How many cubic units, how many cubic inches, how many cubic centimeters, all that good stuff. All right. And remember, early on, they're going to have you count the squares, but soon they're going to remove all those squares and just give you dimensions. All right. So that's your next thing. Okay. So, yeah, I hope that that is helping you out. I hope that you're having a decent time with volume and the formulas are starting to make sense. Hey, there I am. And yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Talk to your teachers if you have any questions. Feel free to like and subscribe or whatever. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye! Oh, now it shows up. That's ridiculous. Okay, bye for real.